I wanted to riff on this kind of fun topic of being thirsty. Being a thirst trap. What do I mean by this in regards to business, really? So I've had so many coaching clients and people that I mentor explicitly say to me things like, I didn't follow up, I didn't reach out, I didn't want to look desperate, I don't want to look thirsty. I validate and totally empathize and understand those feelings of not wanting to appear thirsty or desperate. And in fact, there are a lot of high-level entrepreneurs who get solicited and pitched products and ideas all of the time, right? And those people very well may have their guards up to you wanting to work with them. So how do you leverage the power of being thirsty to your advantage? First, getting into alignment with your true intentions will be incredibly beneficial to you. Remind yourself that you're not just looking to connect with so-and-so to steal from them, right? To pilfer them and to take all their time and give nothing in return. That would be a bad version of thirsty. We don't want that. But when your intentions are pure and for connection and in service and in curiosity, then be thirsty. I am thirsty AF. I reach out to people, and if they don't respond, I will continually hit them up, and I try to make it fun. So some of the fun ways that I am thirsty are to, if I ask a question, for example, and I don't get an answer from the person that I want an answer from, I will literally go ahead and start to answer the question myself in that chat. So it could be something like, are you available for a call? And then they don't answer. And so I might quite literally be like, yeah, Laura, I'm available a few times next week. And then I'll be like, oh, wonderful. What are those times? And then that person that I'm reaching out to will actually answer and respond with the times. So that's one funny example of how to be thirsty. I'll also just repeatedly say my target I use target jokingly, right? Like my target's name. I'd be like, hey, name, and I'll say that 3 times in a row to really get their attention. All of this is totally cool with me because I know where I'm coming from. And so if you're feeling like you're needing something out of that person, then it might not be as comfortable for you to act thirsty in this way, right? But as long as you know you have value to offer, as long as you know that you want to build a good connection and a foundation of friendship, then by all means, be thirsty, be aggressive, go after it. And I want you guys to know that I have been like this my entire career, even when nobody knew me, even when I didn't have the connections that I have now. I would slip into people's DMs and I would be thirsty and aggressive AF. Even when I was told no. For example, the very first marketing conference I ever attended, I slipped into the DMs of the people running the event and I asked for a discount because I was broke and had scarcity issues around money and investing all of that money into attending the conference. They were like, no, also, who are you? But that got me the connection with them. And then I actually became friends with the people running the event. So might not have been the most pure of intentions because I wanted a discount. But even then, just going for it, shooting my shot and asking the question worked. So if you have a dream prospective client or a dream partner, go ahead, get up into those DMs. Do not be afraid of being thirsty. Being thirsty is a good thing. So now if I also flip that perception around as somebody who hires people, who do I want? Let's think about this. Do I want the non-thirsty person who is way too cool for school, won't follow up, is hiding in a cave? Or do I want the person who's going to reach out to me, follow up with me, and is really excited and desirous of the opportunity to work with me? Of course, I want that second person. But who would you rather work with? The person who is eager and really, really wants to connect with you, or the person who is not? So I highly encourage that reframe, taking a little bit of a mental shift on this concept of thirsty and desperation. That also ties into your speed to lead stuff, right? So if you got to play it cool for an hour or for a day before responding to somebody, even though you had the opportunity to respond to them, you're just wasting time. And in those moments, your targets are going to be out talking to other people. Just recently, I hired a copywriter, and she was the first person to respond to me like so fast. And she was so enthusiastic. That's Mary Bell, by the way, incredibly talented writer. And so I got a lot of other great applicants too, but because I wanted to make the decision quickly so I could move on and we could start implementing, she had a huge advantage by being the first person to reach out to me and by being unabashedly excited about what I was doing and what I wanted. Now, I don't ever recommend you fake excitement when it's not there. In fact, that will help you kind of whittle down all of the opportunities that are available to you and turn up your thirst meter for the ones that are truly that exciting and going after it and being thirsty for them. Also, the exercise of reframing thirst, I think, could be really helpful for a lot of people. It was so easy, right, for people to say, oh, I can't possibly do that because I would look thirsty. Okay, so what do I do as a coach? I analyze how being thirsty could be a really great thing. That is an exercise that you could do for all of the bullshit that gets in your way and that prevents you from taking action. So if you say, I couldn't possibly apply to that gig, I don't have enough experience. In which way is your lack of experience valuable? In which way could your lack of experience be really, really great? Of course, you don't have a bunch of bad habits. It means you're going to research harder than anybody else. It means that your enthusiasm for something that's a novelty could propel you really far and help you deliver incredible, innovative, unique work versus the cookie cutter shit that you see over and over and over again. So I was looking at some financial promos recently, and they all kind of look the same. So perhaps somebody who doesn't have a ton of experience in financial copy could leverage that to say, I'm really passionate about the space and the project, and I know I'm going to bring something fresh and new to the table that has the potential to spank everything else that's already out there. So it's literally just a process of analyzing what you use to allow you to continue to play small and flipping that around and deciding a way that that could be a benefit and an advantage to you. Here's another example. Like, this is a large investment for me. I am scared to make this investment. It's a lot of money. Well, that could be a wonderful thing. You know why? Because you're gonna care like a lot. This is a really big deal to you, right? It's an important investment, right? Okay, wonderful. So now I know you're not gonna waste the fucking opportunity. The guys who have tons of money and can just throw their money into this, they might not take it seriously enough. They might not implement enough because they'll go ahead and get distracted with 25 other things. But because you really care and because this is a big deal to you, you're gonna get so much more out of it. That's a selling strategy too, by the way, when you're selling expensive stuff. So reframing, putting on a new mind frame, making a different decision, and allowing yourself just the mental play of, wait a minute, I've been using this as an excuse. How could I actually turn this into a device that motivates me and empowers me? So, as many of you guys may know, I really love doing that shit. Now, all of this ties into permission as well. Giving yourself permission to do the things that you really want to do. I don't know why you guys don't feel like you have permission yet. I really don't. I would love to know why you feel like you don't have permission to quote that higher dollar amount, to reach out to the person that you really want to connect with and to follow up with them. Why you don't have permission to make the investments even when the money is in your bank account. Just recently, I've heard people say, actually, Laura, I have the money to do this, but I realize that some other issue is coming up for me. Like, I don't feel worthy. So I'm giving you the permission. And ultimately, you can always give yourself the permission. That opportunity is always available to you. So even if you just need to sit with a deep breath and be like, I'm giving myself the permission to take this leap and potentially fall flat. Falling flat is so fucking incredible because you're gonna get invaluable information. I really hope you guys know this already. And even the information that you get, if nothing comes out of your leap, now you know what has happened versus not doing it. You get the same result, but without any information. And you're stuck in the loop of, oh, I really should do this, but I'm not going to. Oh, I really should do this, but I'm not going to. I really should do this, but I'm not going to. That's costing you so much mental energy and time versus giving yourself permission, doing the damn thing, falling flat. Now you can come up with a new idea. Now you have something new to try. And again, falling flat is just the entire unlikely worst case scenario. So there's literally no reason not to be doing more things. And instead of letting all of your thoughts dictate your action, even just taking a few minutes per day to reflect on the thoughts you have, what mind framing can I do to turn these thoughts into my favor? So a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about tends to come up for people, and it comes up for me too at events. I don't feel worthy, or I feel nervous to go talk to so-and-so. I feel nervous to insert myself into the group of the big players at the event. All of this shit, right? So how the heck do I do that? First, I reframe all my shit and I give myself the dare to just like walk over and say something silly like within the next minute. On top of that, though, is the knowing your intentions and who you are. So instead of always planning for an event with I need the goal of closing 3 clients. I need the goal of talking to 10 people, which talking to 10 people is a good goal because that's a systems-oriented goal. The only person who controls that outcome is you. So I still like that type of goal, to talk to 10 people, for example. What if you really sat before an event and thought of who do I want to be as I step into this event versus what do I want to attain? Because then you're going to be so much more comfortable with all of these interactions. So if I know that I want to step into an event and be a fun, inspirational person, and then that's my objective, now I can talk to absolutely anybody. And I can speak on stage too. And I can introduce myself to a full crowd because I know that I want to be a fun, inspirational person. And that's my only intention. Instead of, I gotta close this business owner right here, right now. It totally messes up your energy. And no wonder you feel awkward and uncomfortable going up to talk to them. No wonder they might take a step back towards you because all you're wanting is some sort of result that you can't even control. But if all I care about is being fun and inspirational, that's so much easier and I get to be more authentically myself. So always taking the time to step into who do I want to be? How do I want to show up is like overarching all of the stuff that I have spoken about. How could I introduce myself to people in a way that embodies who I want to show up as, right? Versus what I'm trying to get out of everything. Advice on pushing a deal done without coming off needy/desperate or coming off like you don't respect their time. Well, pushing to get a deal done is respecting their time, because you're trying to cut the back and forth and you want to get the deal done so that you can get to action and get them the materials that they need or whatever it may be in a quick time frame. I might ask, what's in the way? If it's a situation where they've promised to work with you and you were supposed to get paid and you haven't gotten paid yet, I might be like, is there anything in the way of you clicking this link that I can help with? Potentially a more subtle way to do that. I often like when I send somebody a payment link, I'm like, click that link, let me know that it works. So that's like the very first step in getting them to actually click the link, because of course, if they click the link and go to the page, the ball is rolling to get them to actually like pay my Stripe link or whatever it may be. If you don't feel needy and desperate, then you won't come off needy and desperate. So I might analyze why you feel that in trying to get a deal done, you're being needy and desperate. You're a business owner, right? Selling your services, and in the interest of your business, you're trying to get that deal done. That's all that there is to it. So instead of feeling needy or desperate, I would encourage you to feel productive, action-oriented, like a boss, somebody who needs that commitment from the other party, or you have all of these other opportunities that you need to go tend to. So how would like a badass business guy approach all that? I don't think they would feel needy or desperate at all by following up and saying, hey, we committed to this a week ago. There's nothing happening. Let me know if this is going to happen or not. If not, no hard feelings. If not, no big deal. But I'll just have to move on and the slot on my calendar won't be available anymore. And nobody else is going to perceive you as being needy and desperate that way. They've got to come to the decision of, okay, am I locking this in or am I not? And if they don't, that's fantastic, because now you're not in this weird waffly space where you don't know what's happening. You are set free to go move on to the other things that are on your plate. So yeah, I will recap the points that I made here. So thirsty, we're gonna flip. Being thirsty, it's good to be thirsty. So long as your intentions are pure, be thirsty AF and have fun in your follow-ups. Giving yourself permission. So you have my permission as well to go ahead and be thirsty as a productive, powerful business person. And apply all of this into the way you show up in the physical realm when you meet people at events and come as who you are. Yay, Olga. Olga asked, what's your advice, Laura, for whether to submit custom samples versus other samples versus no samples versus ideas? I still feel stuck on this. Different people recommend different things. So I'm so glad that you asked, because this is one of those beautiful situations where it is more art than physics. Spoiler alert, we are in the soft sciences business. This is not a math equation where there's always one right answer, even for nearly identical situations. So I would always tailor my samples or outreach or whatever it may be to what is best going to get me the gig, okay? So if, for example, there are listings that say custom samples really not needed, but just give us something, then I would also, in the interest of protecting your time, right? I would just give them the best samples that I have, even if they're not in the niche and not in the format. Versus ideas, if it's a client who wants more of a CMO type of position or who wants split test stuff, if they're like, here's our control, we're looking to beat it, that might be a good idea to film a quick Loom video with, here are some things I see on the page that could get you a quick lift right now. Different angles I would test for new leads might include X, Y, and Z. 3-minute Loom video. When I send them the link to the Loom video, I would tell them that it's 3 minutes long. I might even do some juicy stuff like at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I say like something incredible, right? Like open a loop to get them to click through and consume the Loom video up until that point. And ultimately, remember that there is no hard answer for this. So take a step back and think, what's the best thing that I could do now to stand out and to get me this gig? As a hirer of people, I'm looking for the spank. So more, and like the chutzpah and like the thirstiness and the passion and the, somebody who looks like they're gonna commit and be a really good communicator, and somebody who follows directions super well. So did you follow every single direction on the application? If I said, send me an email with this subject line, you must do that. That is of paramount importance, because the moment I saw that somebody did not follow a direction, what does that indicate? I'm looking to hire somebody. If you can't follow instructions in the application process, how can I trust that you're gonna follow instructions when it's time to actually do the work? So I would go through with like literally a red pen and check that I have followed every single direction on the application. Then I would look for, okay, did they respond quickly? Did they have enthusiasm in their post? Do they have an understanding of what I'm doing here and what I'm looking for? And are they passionate about what I'm doing? And then have they injected their own personality into a cover letter, into the DM, into their sample, whatever it may be? Because so many writers, we could sell and have fun for other people's stuff, but when it comes time to that for them to promote themselves, they get like the turtle hands and they start writing like an essay as if it was a history paper. You know, I've written sales letters for 3 years now, and you know, blah blah blah. Like not said in a benefit-rich, fun, exciting way for me to read as the person who's reading your cover letter at the other end of the line. So you do all of those things, Olga, and you submit whatever they're asking for in terms of samples. And if they don't ask for anything specific, just submit the most fire stuff that you already have with a fire cover letter, okay? Or do the Loom video if you feel that that's more pertinent for that particular gig. But you do all of that other stuff, it's gonna be way more impactful than this debate you're having over custom samples or other samples or this and that. Another approach to add to that could be your spanky ass cover letter that shows that you follow the instructions and you're excited about the project, plus a question, you know, like, would you like to see a custom email like for this, or some sort of question that pulls that answer that you want from your prospect. Questions are wonderful because they're the best way to guarantee a response. I would say this in your follow-ups as well. When you follow up to people and when you're being thirsty, ask them a question. Because if you just say a bunch of shit, there's no certainty that they're going to reply. But if you ask a question, much higher likelihood of a response because you've given them some sort of prompt, something to say back to you, right? For anybody who, for any reason, has not felt worthy lately, you're not worthy. Do you know why? Because you have not gone to see the anointer of worthiness, and that's me. So luckily, you are seeing me right now, and I anoint you worthy. Here you go. Here it is. There you go. You are now worthy because you have been anointed worthy by me. So there's no fucking excuse anymore. Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate everybody who hung out with me. I would love to do these more often. I'm sure I will. And have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.